Hello everybody, it is me Darcy. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Unnamed Podcast. The podcast where I sit here with this guy for about a time, talking rubbish or whatever else comes to my mind. Always my mind, never his. I kind of run this whole thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
But guys, remember, we are here for a good time. Not a long time, but also kind of a long time.
Generally,
Sometimes.
Yeah. More often.
Depends how much of a rush I'm in, and I'm always in a rush. Before we get started, just thought, for those of you who can't tell and are not in the know, which is all of you, this is the first time in a long time we've actually done a daytime podcast.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You can't tell because it's all closed up, but there's light outside.
And a lot of it.
A lot of it. I think the last time we ever did a daytime podcast was the day we went to the nerd store.
That was too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was almost a year ago?
You're getting close to it at least, yeah.
We'll definitely be getting close to it. Anyway, guys, let's get started as we often do with a little bit of channel news.
Yeah. Okay, well, so Monday was Spyro.
It was Spyro.
Would be the last part of it.
Fucking done. It's finished. No more. As I said, a sad day, but also a very happy day.
Yeah. Same with the Sparks missions.
All the Sparks missions, they weren't actually that bad. They were not as bad as I always remember them being, and I don't understand why. I kind of do, but also it's one of those things where it's like,
It's probably just the improved controls made it better and easier.
no,
No?
I think it's more the improved me. So back when I originally played Spyro, I was like 8,
Probably.
and the reality was I had played a lot of platformers.
Yes.
I had played some first-person shooters,
Yep.
and that was about it.
So the Sparks missions being an entirely different thing. Made it
So
so much
bullet
harder.
hell, kind of
Yeah.
isometric movement kind of crap
Yeah.
was something that I'd never done. But now as I've gotten older, yeah, I've played bullet hell games. Yeah, I've played games where it's like, oh, you've got to do this and do that, and kind of not just be focusing on the next thing ahead of you, but what's happening completely around you, and how to move around and make everything work. Yeah. But again, like, don't get me wrong, they're not great missions, but
No.
they weren't as... I definitely, whenever I think about them and have that memory of them, it's this thing of being like, oh, they're really fucking long, and they're really annoying, and, there's not a lot of health, so if you take a hit, it's a really big deal,
Yeah.
and dying, there's no checkpoints either, so dying's really bad.
Yeah.
And, like, I did die in a few of them, but it was like in the boss fight, so it's like you checkpoint right outside the door and go back in. So it's just like,
It's not bad, yeah.
and it's like,
That's fair.
yeah, and I was just like, I definitely remember them being way worse than they actually were,
Yeah.
and that's I guess like it really. I was just like, yeah, no, they weren't as bad as I remember, which is good, which is nice.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, I was just kind of like, just had to get them done.
That's fair, yeah.
What was incredibly annoying was, like, after each one, they like, oh, Sparks now has this power, and you're like, you motherfucker. Because I honestly can't remember when they unlock. Maybe it's after you beat the boss
In
area. Like,
it probably
so
is.
you go to the boss, you beat that boss. If you come back, you can do that Sparks mission.
straight away, yeah.
But I just, I could not remember when they kicked in. So I was like, I'll just finish the game and then go back and do them, right?
Yeah.
As you do. And then it's like, oh yeah, Sparks can take an extra hit now. And you're like, are you fucking kidding me? 4 hits. That would have actually saved me a lot of the deaths that happened.
Yeah.
It was like, oh shit, I've taken a hit, and then you take the next hit almost. There was one point in that last episode where I took like 3 hits at the same time.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And I was just like, but,
Yeah.
yeah. And then like, oh, Sparks can now grab gems from further away, and you're like, are you fucking kidding me? It's like, oh yeah, Sparks can now unlock treasure chests, and you're just like, are you absolutely fucking joking?
I went and did all this, and
Like,
this motherfucker could have done it for me.
Do you know how much time I would have saved if I just had have gone in with a fucking half-assed attitude and not a completionist attitude, and being like, I must complete these missions? Because instead of having to track down fucking keys, I could have just been like, oh yep, I'm out, I've done the mission, do the Sparks mission, oh, I don't need to find the keys anymore, I can just unlock everything.
He becomes a key.
Mm.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I did the same thing when I played it though, so I never actually paid attention to the powers that he got. because I was right at the end.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. The most beneficial of all the powers is the first one he gets, which is he can grab gems from further away.
Oh yeah.
Because if you've played any of the Spyro games, you get to Spyro 3 and you're like, Sparks, we're standing right next to a gem. Why aren't you grabbing it?
Oh,
because normally he'll like shoot out a little arc around you and just like got it. So you're missing less.
Yeah.
But like you'll be seeing like literally it's touching your foot and you're like, you're gonna grab a Sparks, and he's like, no. And then that one's like, oh yeah, Sparks can now grab him from further. So all of those times in this where you're like doing skateboarding missions or snowboarding
when you've
missions,
had to circle around the gem 3 times to finally hit it.
Yeah. It's like all of that goes away, and it's like, oh yeah, he's grabbing stuff like, especially in like the snowboarding and the skateboarding missions where it's like you have to hit the gem to collect it, and it's like you go past it just slightly, like it's gonna take me either another lap to get it, or I've got to now try and re-angle myself and come back at it, and it's like, so that's probably the most useful. The extra hit's not bad, but again, it's not something that's
getting good will help out with that.
Well, not even getting good. It's just you're not really ever in a situation like if you're just aware of what's happening, you'll notice that you've got one hit left, and you're like, oh, I should probably go and find a butterfly.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it's never like, oh shit, I've eaten all the butterflies in this mission. There are none left. It's like, just go back to where they are. They'll respawn.
Pretty much.
Cook them, get some butterflies.
Yeah.
So that one's like useful, but not like super necessary.
Yeah.
So the extra hits, I don't think it's a real big deal. But the last one that you get, the key one, is kind of like pointless, because at that point, you've played the whole game. If you've done it half decently,
you've found the key.
You've found the key. Like, it's not like the keys are like, oh, you've got to go to this mission. It's not like a game where it's like, oh, you just find keys and keep them on you. It's like each key is in the mission with the chest.
Yeah.
It's not like you have to be like, oh shit, this chest needs a key, and oh fuck, I haven't, that means I've got to go back through all of the missions to find a key that I've missed. No, it's like, it's somewhere here, and it's generally not that hard to find.
Yeah.
So, like, some of the Sparks powers are useless, but yeah, the one thing they took away from you is the one thing that you've relied on the most.
Oh yeah.
Which is Sparks
collecting the gems.
Will grab gems that are just slightly off your way, so you don't have to be like, oh, I've got to hit them exactly. He'll be like, no, don't worry, you weren't close enough, I'll grab them for you. And you're like, thanks, Sparks. But no, they took that away from you. I think that's probably the biggest crime they committed in Spyro 3, is they took away something that you had always had. The extra hit, I'm okay with that, because it's something I never had.
Yeah.
So giving it to me is not like, oh, thank you for giving it back. It's like, no, this is something we just gave to you.
Yeah.
The being able to unlock chests, while completely useless, is something they're giving to me. It's not something that Sparks always did. But the fact that they took away something that he always did, and then we're like, yeah, you can have it back
go through
now.
the first 2 games, and you're playing the entire time. It's like, yep, Sparks, what the fuck are you doing, Spark? Get your ass out there. Go.
And if you actually go back to the start of the Spyro 3 playthrough, I'm fairly sure in the first episode, I do make mention of that. I do literally say, like, Sparks, are you going to grab the gem or something like that? Because we literally go right past it. I'm just like, I didn't touch that, but Sparks usually. And I'm like, what the fuck, Sparks? Why aren't you grabbing the gems or some shit like that? And it's like, oh, because they literally took that away from me.
Oh, they made you unlock the power.
They grabbed it, they took it off me, and then went, there you go, you can have it back now.
Which really doesn't make sense that it's a power that they got rid of in the 3rd game, considering it's the same 2 creatures.
Oh, it doesn't make sense.
It's not like it's a new... It's Spyro, but it's a new version of Spyro. Nope, it's the same version, same Sparks.
I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of things like that which I think video games just get wrong. Which is like, one of the things I really hate is a sequel game that takes power away from you.
Yeah.
And then they're like, ha, but we did it for gameplay reasons. And it's like, no, I unlocked all of this in the first game. If it's the same character and those powers are going to be the same, I should just have them to begin with. It's like, oh, but if you have them to begin with, what will you unlock? And it's like, better versions of those powers, different powers, other things. Oh, but we could just re-give you the same powers and force you to unlock them again. But I've already unlocked them, especially in games where it's like, you're learning these abilities. It's like, oh, now you've learned how to do this. And it's like, cool. It now doesn't make sense that in the next game I can't do that. And it's like, oh, you're like, oh, is that mechanic being removed from the game? No, we're just gonna let you unlock it later.
No.
The character already should know how to do that. They've already learned how to do it, and that's always a big issue with those kind of games. It's like,
because it could just be a situation of Sparks grabbing the gem from further away. So instead of grabbing it when it's just out of arm's reach, it's grabbing it from the corner of the room that you guys can't see. But that's legitimately how you add that in.
I'm not gonna lie to you, there was a mission where that forces you into first person, so it's really hard to see around you in the rooms, and I missed a gem in that, and it took me a while to find it.
Yeah.
And Sparks being able to grab, because I would have walked past it about 6 or 7 times, but Sparks just being able to grab it would have made my life a lot easier.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so Spyro is finished, it's all done. As I've said, you know, that ends a very reliable kind of recording that I could just be like, oh shit, I need a recording, let's do that. And, you know, very, very easy to edit. So now I've lost that, but that's okay. I will find a new one. Something I'm looking at figuring out how to start is South of Midnight. When I say figuring out how to start it, right, it's not that complex. It's just, it's something like a 60 gig game, and I don't have 60 gig at the moment.
Yeah. That seems right.
Yeah, so, like, you know, there's that side of things. But yeah. I think that just, I don't think there's much more to say about Spyro. It's, you know, it is finished. We've finally done it.
It's pretty straightforward on that one.
Yeah. So yeah, if you do have any suggestions on games you would like to see me play solo, put them in the comments, because I am actually looking for it. You know, I still got Red Dead Redemption. I've still got.
Have you done any more Coral Island?
Subnautica. I haven't actually done any more Coral Island. Coral Island has had a lot of updates recently. And I haven't done anything with it purely for the reason is that while these updates are really cool, and like I think one of the updates they're going to do is like as seasons, like, you know, as you go through years, like people on the island actually grow up, so the kids become teenagers and stuff like that.
That's pretty cool.
So like they're actually like, it feels like time is progressing. That's really cool. I'm like, if the game actually does that and can pull it off, I think that'll be freaking awesome, because you kind of start with these little kids being all fucking stupid little kids, and then they're like,
and all of a sudden they've got their own child.
And I think that's really cool. But it does mean doing something that I always dislike in games, which is starting again. Because like I would honestly do a Coral Island playthrough, but I would want to start it from the beginning. And the problem with that is that when you go back to the beginning and you're like, oh, I can just, no, I can't. Haven't unlocked that yet. Oh god, my life is now hell.
I can start a new playthrough. The only thing I did was hand out drafts.
Exactly.
They hate me.
But yeah, so that's cool. Thinking of something and I forgot what it is. It's boggled my brain. I think it is time I update to the Xbox Series X, because like now there's a whole bunch of games that are like, no, you need the Series X to play it, and it's like I have a few of them, like a few of the Resident Evil games I own are like, no, on the Series X, because I obviously own 4 Remake. And it's like, unless you have a Series X, you can't play it. There's a few games I've got that it's like, no, you can't have this on your device, and I'm just like, but you know,
that one happens.
But there's a few games I'm thinking of doing solo. I just have to kind of figure out if they're likely to do that, and B, if they're like, there's a few games out there that are like one-offs. You know, you can do one kind of thing in them, but then a lot of the gameplay is exactly the same. And then there's others that are like, you know, oh, let's make a whole Let's Play series or whatever. So Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes, moving on.
Moving on.
Today, Wednesday, is Halo.
Yes,
We finally got back into it.
Mm.
Took us a bit, but we did.
Yeah, it only took us upgrading Chris's Xbox.
Yes, indeed.
But
I upgraded that a little while ago. I'm pretty sure I had already done that upgrade.
Not when we recorded the first one.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you were looking at getting it, doing the deal, but then you did the deal.
Oh, fair enough. Then.
So you did that after we got after the first one. Before, but yeah.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so Halo. The episode is called Halo because that's the mission name, and
obviously
that is kind of what I'm doing with those. I think that's the easiest way because
just going by the mission name.
It's just so episodic, guys. You know, it's such an episodic game that it's like, this is the level we're doing.
Yeah.
You know, this is what's happening. The actual Halo mission is iconic. It is one of, I think it's like one of the very early kind of exploring missions, especially in a first-person shooter.
True, yeah.
You know, there are 3 places you have to go, but how you choose to go to them is your choice. You can hit them in any order you want, all that kind of stuff. There's the driving around in between the missions where you don't really run into people, and you know, at the time when I think the Call of Duties were like, run down this path, I think it was like really, really advanced in terms of like you can
go wherever you want.
Here is a admittedly very small open area, and you can do the mission however you please.
Yeah. Which is always good.
Well, I think we through no planning and just sheer luck, we actually did a really good order because we got the sniper rifle first.
Oh yeah.
And then I could actually use it, whereas a lot of the times I've done that with other people, I end up hitting that part last. So you get the sniper rifle for like one small battle.
Yeah.
And it's like one of the most powerful weapons in the game. It's nice to have. Although we did kind of make up for that in the next mission where we get given sniper rifles and then immediately lost them.
Yeah, no, that was a bit of an issue.
Yeah. So basically, guys, we are playing through. It is legendary, as I said in the start of the film. It is legendary, not lasso. I do intend to do lasso. I really want to do the Vidmaster challenge in Halo. If you know what they are, awesome. If you don't, they're pretty much just like lassos, but you've got to do them with 4 people, and no one's allowed to die and stuff like that. Yeah. The reason that no one's allowed to die is like, if people die, then things don't spawn in that you need to complete the missions and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But yeah, so that's something I really want to do one day is like just lasso, 4-player lasso, all of the games that can be, so all of the Master Chief Collection at least.
Yeah.
Which would be really, really cool.
Indeed.
But yeah, not a whole lot to say. We play it. It's legendary. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit rusty when it comes to my Combat Evolved.
Yeah.
I haven't played Combat Evolved in a while. I usually stick to multiplayer of the newest game, so that's been Infinite for a while. And I'll go back and I'll play like campaign missions and my favorite stuff. And I'm not gonna lie to you, Combat Evolved, whilst legendary and like did start, and you know, I think it's safe to say Halo Combat Evolved changed the gaming landscape, because for the next like 10 years everyone was trying to kill Halo, and it did a lot for that. But compared to Halo 3 and Halo 2, it is a little bit of a it's got its moments, but it's a little bit, you know, soft. It doesn't have, doesn't have my preferred weapon, which is the battle rifle. I much prefer the battle rifle to the assault rifle. It wasn't until Halo 3 that we got them both, which was lovely. But yeah, I think Halo 3 is definitely the one that I go back to the most. And so when we make it to that, I will hopefully be nowhere near as rusty as I am with Halo Combat Evolved.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I think we're doing better than I thought I was going to.
Oh yeah.
Especially since it's legendary. And I don't play many first-person shooters.
Not gonna lie, there's just in editing the recordings, there has been quite a bit of times where it's like, oh, we could have played that smarter. Oh, we could have, we definitely didn't need to both die in this one spot. There's also been some really funny things that just come from accidents. Like, quite literally, there's one point in the episode where neither of us can figure out what happened. I figured it out through the editing. But I'm beating the crap out of someone, and as I'm beating them, because my hit button is right above my grenade button, I must have hit them both at the same time.
Oh, okay.
So I hit him, he dies, but as I hit him, I drop a grenade, and then we both explode.
God damn it.
Because you're standing right next to me, quite literally just watching me beat a guy to death.
Pretty much.
And I'm just like, bang, you're just like, get him. And
You
I'm
got
just
this.
like, are you gonna do anything?
No.
But yeah. Because there's actually going to be like 2 weeks without a podcast, we might as well talk about next Wednesdays, which is Truth and Reconciliation, the second part of the Halo that we filmed at the same time. And about 10 minutes before the end of that episode, I learned that Kris really has no idea about Halo. Basically, he doesn't throw grenades into crowds of enemies in small rooms. He just runs in there and then gets killed. And he doesn't hit enemies in the back, like, ever. He just doesn't do it. And I'm like, well, hit that guy in the back. And he's like, why? And I'm like, because it's an insta-kill. He's like, what? And I'm like,
no, I never knew that.
Like, how have you played any Halo? How have you even been a gamer since Halo came out and not heard about hitting enemies in the back for the insta-kill?
It's mainly because I never had an Xbox for the most part.
Doesn't matter, like...
And
gaming culture is hitting enemies in the back to kill them instantly because of Halo.
So the main thing is, because a lot of the people I was actually gaming with, we never played first-person shooters, so it was never on our radar in the first place. I didn't start playing first-person shooters till high school.
I don't know, man. Like,
I believe I played Halo once with my uncle many years ago.
This may be an incredibly, just false statement, but I'm fairly sure Halo invented the stealth kill.
Probably. But a lot of the games I used to play was like Spyro, Sly Raccoon, Ratchet and Clank. Just a shooter in a matter of speaking, but they didn't have the insta-kill kind of thing. So it was those sorts of games that I was always playing, and a lot of my mates did the same type of game, so they never really played the first-person shooters. So I said, it wasn't really until I met Jordan that first-person shooters were a thing for me. So hence why I never really heard about it.
Fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
But yeah.
As for the reason for not throwing shit as I go into places, it's the button mapping for me. It's just throwing me out because I'm not used to the button mapping. So it's like, throw a grenade, and it's like, I go to do something, I'm like, fuck, that's the grenade button. Yeah, so that's...
You say that a lot. You're like, I'm just gonna, that's the grenade button. Because you also don't understand, like, the old school world of first-person shooters where there wasn't zooming on every gun.
Yes.
A lot of it was just hip fire.
Yeah, I'm aware.
And you're like,
I keep forgetting.
There's a whole part at the start of the Halo episode where you're just like, how do I zoom? And I'm like giving you all these buttons. And you're like, I can't zoom. And then you're like, then you say something. I'm like, well, no, that gun can't zoom. Only the pistol and the sniper rifle can zoom. And you're like, wait, what?
Pretty much, yeah. But as I said, my first shooter was like Ratchet and Clank, where you did have that option.
But yeah, no. So, it's a steep learning curve.
Very much so.
But, I'm out there doing my best to try and drag us through them, killing most of the hunters solo.
Yeah.
While Kris just kind of runs around. In the episode Truth and Reconciliation, guys, there is a point where I'm just like, Kris is like saying something, and he's like, I'm like, okay, just give me a second, I'll come help you. He's like, I'm just running around a rock. I'm like, okay, just give me a second, I'll come and help you.
That sounds about right.
But yeah, there's so you've got Halo. The Halo one came out today, and the second part, or the next episode, comes out next week.
Yes.
Which again, as I said, there will be no podcast next week, or the week after, because I'm away, and there won't even be channel updates because Kris doesn't want to break into my house and do recording and editing. one, he can't edit. He's never
And
done it
two, I
before.
wouldn't have to break into your house anyway. Well, one of those weeks I would. So next week I wouldn't have to.
That's what you think.
No. I press that fucking button on the door, beside the door. I'm let in.
But yeah, so yeah. Then of course we've got the Easter episode of Minecraft coming out on Saturday. Technically the day before Easter, but
close enough.
Good enough.
Yeah.
And that'll be probably the last Minecraft episode for 2 weeks. Again, it's just been a little bit too much for me to get Minecraft done that far in advance.
Yeah.
The unfortunate thing with Minecraft is I usually film it the week before it comes out, which is more than enough time to do the edit. But when you're going away for 2 weeks, that falls out and you just can't do it. And I've had to do other stuff. So the Easter Minecraft will be the last Minecraft for about 2 weeks. But when we come back, when I get back, hopefully, everything will fall back into normal. Next Monday, we have Red Dead Redemption coming out. So that's the next episode where I do my best not to go and rescue Micah because he's a little dickhead and I hate the shit out of him.
Sounds right.
And so he can sit in jail for as long as I can leave him there, I think.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I have to let him out before the game will allow me to continue at a point.
Yeah.
But I think if we can get up to that point, then, we have to go save him.
Yeah.
And I think that's a pretty good reason to save him. Like, when the game is literally forcing me to go save him, I think you can say I've done my best to make sure he suffers.
Yeah, fair.
The only unfortunate thing about Red Dead Redemption 2, really, it's such a big game with so many intricate parts, but it just doesn't have that whole Deus Ex human... Was it Revolution or Evolution?
I don't remember.
The first one with Adam Jensen in it, where, there's like a whole point where if you fuck around when they tell you that there's this urgent mission, they like come to you like 10 minutes later and they're like, everyone's dead because you were messing around.
That's actually pretty cool.
I think is great. I think more video games should take that. I think especially Red Dead Redemption should have taken that. And if I just let Micah sit in jail, then they should hang him like they're planning to. And that would be lovely and nice, and no one would be upset with that. But unfortunately, Red Dead Redemption 2 is not that type of game. It does not allow you to let main characters die just because you dislike them.
That's disappointing.
I know.
It really is.
And he's like a real dick. No one likes him. No one would be sad if you threw a tomahawk into his head, but unfortunately the game just does not allow you to do that. Which I think kind of breaks the whole immersion, They did a lot with it. They gave horses testicles that react to the temperature.
Yes, they did that.
They made people, just if you run into people, they'll start punching you in the face and shit like that if you're just a dick to them.
Yeah, fair.
They made cutscenes be perfectly ruinable by parking your horse in the background and then your horse taking a giant crap whilst you're having a serious conversation with someone.
Fuck yeah.
But they went, we wouldn't want you to be able to kill a character you despise. That might be too much.
That's, annoying. For sure.
Absolutely.
I don't know how many times I would attempt it. I think I would throw it for a long time, attempting to throw the tomahawk in such a way that it arcs down and then lands on his head.
I think the real problem is that, like, what are you doing, Georgie? Yeah, you. I think the real problem is that, like, in the points where you're actually able to have a weapon around him, if he dies, it's like, you failed the mission. It's like, no, I didn't. I made the mission easier. Dead weight was just lost.
Exactly.
Fuck.
God damn it.
Yeah. Like, it's a classic Red Dead game where it's like, the person you want to kill the entire game, you can find them at the end of it and kill them and, finally have all of their crap catch up to them. But it's like, no, I don't want to wait for the satisfaction of killing him at the end of the game. I want him dead now. I don't want to have to sit with this and be like, when I finally get the chance to kill you, it's going to be sweet. I want to be like, actually, you know what? I'm carrying a small arsenal. I'm going to take care of you.
Yeah.
Hello, what are you doing?
Oh.
But yeah, so that's coming out next week. Halo's coming out next week. There won't be a podcast or an Minecraft next week. The week after that, again, there will be no podcast, so I'll give you a quick idea of what's going to be happening that week. It should be Satisfactory and a Subnautica. That is all the information I have.
Yeah, it's about it. We don't know whether
I will be back for 3 days between this period and when I go away again.
Yeah.
And in those 3 days, I will be doing editing to get both of those finished off.
Yeah.
Because I still have quite a bit to do to get the Minecraft finished off for. I've got 1 day. I've got 1 day before I go away.
Yeah.
Not including this afternoon, obviously.
Yeah.
And I still have the Minecraft to do.
Yes.
So, yeah. Bit of work to do, but yeah. That's where we stand. So we will give you the subscriber count, and hopefully next time we give it to you, it will have changed. But currently, 271?
That's the last I checked. My best guess for next week, and I'm gonna put the guess out there. 275.
You reckon?
I reckon we could.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I was putting up some videos last night, the 2 Halos, and this is hilariously funny because I had it on my phone. I had the YouTube channel on my phone and on my computer screen, and both of them said different subscriber counts. And I was like, what the fuck is actually going on?
Okay, fair enough.
The computer was like, you have 272, and I was like, oh, okay. So I had two different subscriber counts at the same time, and I was like, what the hell? But then the computer eventually fixed itself up and was like, cool.
Yeah.
So 271. As I said, there won't be a podcast next week, so we won't be able to update you on that if it changes. And there won't be one for the next week, so yeah, hopefully it will change by the next time we give you the update.
Yes, hopefully.
Because it will actually be in May.
And if I'm right, it'll be one of the first things I say.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, other than that, as I said, the shorts will keep coming out as I'm away. That takes like 5 seconds of my day to do. Yeah. It's longer than that, but and you might also get a few special ones with me on my trip. So you might actually get to see some of what I'm up to. Other than that, I think that just about wraps up channel news. I think it takes care of all of the important business and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You've been warned why there won't be, why the channel will be putting out less for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Mainly, it's just because I'm away. Yeah. Unfortunately, at the moment, there's no way around that. But hopefully, one day, if everything keeps going the way we plan, one day there will come a point where I can go away and it won't upset anything on the channel.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because other people will do it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That wraps that up.
It does. What are you doing?
Who knows? Who knows?
Shoulder dog. There you go.
Apparently not.
No? Yeah. So, Kris, let's have a chat, right?
Alright.
Basically, you know shit. Basically, I'm really happy at the moment because sport is back.
Oh yeah.
Then there are points in the year where there's no sport on, so you're just kind of left with it's a Saturday afternoon, and they've got Bargain Hunt and American Pickers, and you just got crap on TV, right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing good on TV. But now with sport back, there's at least something to watch.
Yeah.
And usually, it's not a long period of time that there's no sport. Fortunately, I watch American and Australian sports, so I get a little bit of everything. I hate cricket though, so I refuse to watch that.
That's fair point. Fair point.
Except for the Big Bash, I don't mind the Big Bash because it comes in, they play a game, they get it done with, they leave before the night's done.
Yeah.
Thank God. Unlike fucking Test cricket where you sit in there and it's like, okay, so lads, see you, same thing again tomorrow. Yeah. And you're like, you're fucking kidding me. You didn't do it. You just stood out there.
It shouldn't take this long to finish one goddamn game.
But yeah, so baseball's back. Loving that. Oh, I absolutely love baseball. Not a bad thing to say about baseball. It's great.
Yeah.
Everyone who plays it has such a great sense of humor.
Well, I see.
No, it's lovely to have it back, especially considering we're coming off. I'm a Dodgers fan, so we're coming off winning the World Series. That's absolutely brilliant.
Nice.
Hopefully we'll go back to back. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
But I watched a bit of the game the other day. We were losing by a lot, so we brought in someone who's not a mainline pitcher to pitch. And it was hilariously funny because I'm watching American baseball stars getting paid a lot of money hit balls that are being just lobbed in, kind of like training, and I thought that was great. Quite literally, the pitcher who was pitching was throwing the ball about as fast as I throw the ball when I'm just lobbing them in as well. So
yeah,
it was good. I like that. That was good fun. The unfortunate side effect is that a sport that I do watch that I despise though is back as well.
Yes.
The NRL, the National Rugby League.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, this year has been the worst year by far. Like, it's been on a constant downward spiral because, like, its umpiring is so bad.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
it's been getting so much worse over the years that I don't watch it, but I hear about it from everywhere as to how bad those umpires are.
They're atrocious. But like, just to kind of like it's gone downhill. This is like, you know how you think with stuff, it's like it can't get any worse. Well, this year is worse than everything, and last year was in there being it can't be any worse. Like some of the stuff was just blatant.
Oh,
and like people coming out and being like, this is blatant. Like, there's no other word for this than the umpires cheating.
Yeah, okay.
And like, that was some of the shit last year, but this year is just, it's even worse. And like, to kind of put out to the public who, you know, a lot of you guys are American, so you might not know. Those of you who are Australian, you know, unless you're in Queensland or New South Wales, you probably don't give a fuck about NRL.
Yeah.
But just when the organization, the NRL themselves, have to send out an email to the coaches being like, you can't say bad things about our umpires.
No,
it can't be negative about them. Like, that's an email from the head of the thing. It's like, wow, NRL, you're giving FIFA a run for its money and corruption.
Pretty much, yeah.
But yeah, like, it's God, it's bad, and it's just not good. And it's like every game you watch, you're like, there'll literally be like 3 calls where you're like, what the fuck are you actually talking about? Or my personal favorite, where they make a call, and then like 10 seconds later, the same thing happens, and they go, oh no, that's a totally different thing. It's like, it's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
It's almost exactly the same. Like,
yeah,
same motion, same outcome.
Different players.
It's different, exactly. And it's just like, fucking, like, the incompetence these umpires have is just amazing.
Oh yeah.
And it's ridiculous.
It's something.
Are you looking at yourself?
Probably.
But yeah, no, it's back, and you know, I don't know, man. It sucks. It's.
You say it every year. You keep watching.
Yeah.
Why?
Just because, like, the truth is, I actually really like rugby. It's just that the NRL, like, yeah, it's bad. And they have this tendency to say, like, oh, this umpire is the best umpire we have, and you watch him, you're like, okay, he's hopeless.
He's
like,
worse than a high school umpire.
Yeah. And a high school umpire doesn't, like, there are points where, like, in the past, they say, like, oh, well, you got to give the umpires a bit of slack. They're only human. They miss things. And it's like, yeah, they do. I'm like, however,
do they miss something that's happened right there?
I'm like, they'll miss something that happens right in front of them, or they'll make a call that if you were, like, umpiring an under-10s game and you missed that call, you'd be told you're never umpiring again. Yeah. And you're just volunteering. You know, you're a volunteer umpire at that point. But these guys are being paid like $300,000 a year. There's no excuse. I'm like, I always say this about them. I'm like, in any job, you get a job review, and they say to you, look, this is unacceptable. You've messed up here. You've messed up here. And I'm like, if you were working at McDonald's and you were as incompetent as some of these umpires, they'd be saying to you, you're done.
Yeah, we
don't
need you anymore.
But these guys, they're above criticism, which I can't stand, because it's like, that's our right as the fans of the sport, and that's the right of the players and the coaches of the sport, is to criticize the umpires when they make a mistake and say, look, they made this mistake.
They're not going to get better unless they do.
It shouldn't have happened, especially when some of these mistakes change the outcomes of games.
Oh yeah.
Like when the umpire makes a blatantly wrong call, and it allows a team to get a penalty, to score penalty points, or and you just go, it changes the outcome of the game. Like for a long time now, I've said we should lose gambling on the NRL because the umpires have too much power and can quite literally change the outcomes of a game.
Yeah.
Which means that there should be no gambling on it, because if one person can quite literally be like, oh yeah, you can walk down the field. Yeah, you can score some points. I'm just going to keep giving you the ball until you score.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be able to gamble on it. And I just think the NRL is just, it's at a point now where it's like, bloody hell, I cannot see how the umpiring could get any worse. Like,
we'll say that now. We'll wait till next year.
Well, as for the last 4 years, the NRL has blatantly pretty much said that the laws of physics don't apply to them. Which is a little bit baffling. But now they're adding things where it's like, oh, but you see this happen, and you're like, how can you say that? You've come out, you've quite literally come out and said, oh, we can't tell that from camera angles, and now you're making calls on it. And they're like, no, but we're infallible. Don't say anything bad about us, or we'll give you a $25,000 fine.
Oh, get off!
And it's like,
Jesus
you can't
Christ.
fine someone $25,000 for saying your umpire was bad and made mistakes when they have the evidence. They have the evidence that they're bad and they made mistakes.
Yeah, that's it.
And like the other big thing that I can't stand is like the precedent, right? So you know how in everything there's precedent. And it's like, if you say this is the rule, then that's the rule. Yeah. Well, the NRL has this real thing of being like, this is the rule, and then the very next game the same thing will happen, and they'll say, no, that's not the rule. And it's like, but that was quite literally the rule yesterday. And it's like, that was the rule yesterday, not today. My interpretation is different. You're like, no, it's the rule or it's not the rule. You don't get to interpret it how you feel like.
No, it's a very real situation.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I think the best thing that could happen is the NRL lose some of its money and just have to restart and get rid of some of these useless umpires.
Yeah.
The fans are not happy. There are so many fans who are just who want the blood of these umpires.
Oh,
and you can understand why. Especially the ones that like have to be involved in the game. They think it's almost like they treat the game as a way for them to become famous. Yeah. Instead of, the players playing, they're like, going on, I'm the umpire. If I don't blow my whistle every 3 minutes, you might forget I'm here. And it's like, we're supposed to forget that you're there.
You're not a part of the fucking game. You're there to make sure things go the correct way. Yeah. That's all it is.
You're just there to enforce the rules. Yeah. If no rules are being broken, we don't need to hear from you. But yeah. But I am glad that sport's back. Mainly baseball. I'm so happy that baseball is back.
I'm aware. Jacob found out the other week that it's one of the biggest sports in America.
It's like, yeah.
It's because after you mentioned it, he's like, "Is it? I don't hear much on it." It's like, "Yeah, no, it's one of the biggest ones." It's like, "Yeah, but they don't have
one of the big three."
No, it's one of the big three. It's like I looked it up. I'm like, "Yeah, no, it's second on the list." It's one of the big two.
Was that after my big thing about the whole two players being paid $1 billion?
Yeah, he's like, "Wait, they put that much money into it?" And it's like, "Yep," and he's just like so dumbfounded as to how it was so big over there. And he's like, "Yeah, but you don't really hear much about it." It's like, how it's like people throw something in the bin, they get it in, they yell Kobe or whatever. And it's like, what do they do with baseball? I'm like, I don't specifically know a lot of them, but I know there are some.
Oh, see, the Kobe thing isn't really a basketball thing as much as it is a Kobe Bryant thing. It's kind of like LeBron James, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
People walk around going, LeBron James. They're not basketball fans.
No,
they just know LeBron. They're meme fans.
Yeah, and that's
the person who made that meme was a basketball fan.
And he's pretty much like...
I would say to you the real thing about baseball and the cultural effect of baseball is look how many people walk around wearing New York Yankee hats or LA Dodger hats.
Yeah, fair point.
Two of the biggest teams, but people are constantly walking around in their hats, and it's like, oh, you're a Yankees fan? No, what's a Yankee? That's a Yankee.
Yeah,
that symbol's Yankee. No, this is the Jay-Z symbol. No, it's the Yankee symbol.
Stop it. Yeah, no.
He wasn't wrong when he said he makes the Yankee hat more famous than a Yankee can, but
true, yeah.
It is a Yankee hat, so, it doesn't really matter who's making it famous. It wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the baseball team.
That is true. It is very true. But yeah, he's sitting there thinking, he's like, yeah, but it's like, I couldn't even name a baseball player, and I'm like, because he's like, oh, I watched YouTube, he watches YouTube all the time.
Yeah.
He's like, the people he watches, like, they'll always talk about football, like, they'll talk about the Super Bowl, basketball, and he's like, Super Bowl, and it's like, yeah, the Super Bowl, and it's like, oh yeah, well, you got gridiron and that sort of thing. He's like, wait, that's what the Super Bowl is? I'm like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah, so, like, I think it's just, like, so there is a fundamental difference between the three sports, right?
Yes.
And it's a time engagement.
Yes.
So, basketball is a good evening.
Yes.
Football is a good afternoon.
Yep.
Baseball is a good day.
Yeah.
So like but like you watch the LA Dodgers, right? LA's team.
Yeah.
There are celebrities all throughout the crowd.
Yeah.
Unlike a lot of other sports though, so like basketball, the celebrities sit like courtside, and there's kind of that differentiate. These guys are just sitting in the crowd.
Yeah.
Yes, they're sitting behind home plate and stuff in the more expensive areas. They're not up in the bleachers behind the home run line.
Not behind the metal post where you're having to sit here like this. Like, oh, I saw that over there. Oh, they're on the other side of the field now. Oh.
But again, like, you literally see, like, it's like, oh, hang on, that's that person from that movie, and then they're just sitting there next to us, and you're like, who's that guy? Oh, that's just a normal human being.
So, who's the fat guy? He must be... No, just a normal person. Does he realise who he's sitting next to?
But again, like, so that's like part of the appeal of baseball. But like, so to kind of like, this is something that again, I don't know. Like, if there's a lot of baseball movies that I don't think people realize are baseball movies.
No, that's what I brought up to him as well. I'm just like, there's a lot of baseball movies, but like...
But one of the big things that always happens in those baseball movies is you hear the saying, America's pastime. Baseball is America's pastime.
It is. But that's the thing, is like,
it's American as apple pie.
Because he's like, I haven't seen a baseball movie in years. I'm like, okay, well, fair enough, but there's still a lot of baseball movies.
Moneyball, the Sandlot kids, the Benchwarmers.
I brought up Benchwarmers and Sandlot, but it was one of those things where, like, when I was thinking about
in the outfield, the Rookie.
Yeah. It's like, I was thinking
about... A League of Their Own.
I was sitting there like, but how many basketball movies do I know?
Coach Carter.
Yeah.
Space Jam.
Space Jam was one of them.
Space Jam 2.
Like Mike.
The truth is, though, the sports movie was bigger in the early 2000s than it is now.
Yes.
Now we're in the blockbuster CGI thing.
Yeah.
And you don't need a lot of CGI to do a sports movie.
No, you don't.
But, like...
I mentioned that to him. I'm like, yeah. And he's like... And then he's just like, I can't even name a baseball player. He's like, can you? I'm like, well, Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth, Yogi Berra...
Yeah.
It's like Shohei Ohtani, he's the $700 million man.
Yeah.
Mookie Betts, again, it's not fair for me because, like,
you know more.
At least two of them are my players, but then you've got like, Derek Jeter.
Okay, yeah.
Jeter, he was around the same time as Kobe, and he was just as big. Derek Jeter.
But that was the thing. It was the end of that gym session. Just was us discussing, like, no, it's big, it is big, and he's like, yeah, but I don't hear about it, but it's still big.
It's massive, and the reason that you don't hear about it is that it's not big in Australia. But
and that's what I was saying.
Basketball is still pretty big here.
Well, that's what I was saying to him. It's like, it's big here, it's massive here, compared to
okay, so gridiron's not big here, but gridiron is only big in America.
Yeah.
So people have that thing where it's like, oh, did you hear this is happening?
Yeah.
Gridiron, it's kind of like one of those things when people get into soccer and they're like, soccer? And they're like, look, it means, it shows that I'm interested in things beyond my field.
Yeah, pretty much.
But, like, But, like, if you actually think about it, like, the early 2000s to, like, 2010, there was a whole lot of stuff. Like, Friday Night Lights was a football one.
Yeah.
Then you've got like Remember the Titans. It's another
Yeah.
football one. So there's a lot of like American sports movies, but I think the big three spread them out. The other big thing is I'm pretty sure baseball was the first of the big three. I'm pretty sure it was before football.
I think so.
Not by a lot. I'd have to do research on it, but I think America would.
Like basketball would have been the last.
I think basketball was definitely the last because that was after the wars. Whereas
well, true, yeah.
Baseball was being played. As I said, baseball and American football, I might be close to each other, but I think baseball just ekes it out just a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like there's, it's hilarious to talk about because there's some things that you might have heard of in like pop culture where you're like, I don't really know what that means. And it's like, oh, that's a baseball term.
Yeah.
Well, let's the dating analogy is a baseball analogy.
That's what I said. That's one of the ones I said to him.
It's like the way people talk about modern dating, going all the way. That's a baseball term.
That's what I'm like. I literally
out of the park is a baseball term.
I legitimately said it to him. I'm like, oh, we talk about
three strikes you're out. It's a baseball term.
I was like, yeah, we talk about. I was like, oh, dating. It's like, you know, we talk about getting to first base, second base, third base, all the way. It's like, you know, all of this. I'm like, I said that to him. It's like, oh, you're fair enough, but still, you don't hear it often. It's like, yes, we fucking do.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely brought those up because I'm like,
it's just I get that it's like in the common person's mind, like there's not a whole lot about baseball. It's like it's kind of it's. I think if you go back through popular culture, a lot of the stuff in popular culture does have stuff done in baseball.
Yeah. I tried to look up some stuff, and it's like all I could find was a load of quotes.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm not looking for quotes here. I want pop culture. Give me pop culture.
Like as I said, the dating, just the general three strikes you're out. Something that people say all the time. Oh, 3 strikes you're out, man. You know? That's all baseball.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
It's like how many sports do you have that you get 3 strikes? I'm thinking of one.
Yeah.
I can't even think of another one.
Oh, baseball and softball. They are 2 different sports.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
But yeah, no, as I said, it does shock people, but it's like, yeah, no, in America, it's a big deal. And part of what makes it big, because it's also, basketball has permeated the world.
Yes.
Baseball has gone further afield than gridiron.
Yes.
Gridiron hasn't really left continental USA.
No.
Like it hasn't, I don't even think there's no Canada team. There is a Canada team in both baseball and basketball.
Yes. Which I find hilarious that people know more about gridiron. It's like, yeah, but baseball's not that big. It's like, it's fucking bigger than gridiron.
Well, okay, let's go. You were talking about baseball movies.
Yeah.
Let's talk about baseball anime.
Fair point.
Or just anime that reference baseball, because the Japanese love it.
It's that
the Koreans.
It tends to be like baseball. That basketball and volleyball for Japan.
So sure. Japan, Mexico, Canada. You know, baseball got out of America.
Oh, it did.
It's just not as big in places that play cricket.
Which is unfortunate because cricket is so much worse.
Honestly, they're a little bit of much for muchness. It just depends on how much you know about the game.
True.
But but the other thing about baseball, which is one of its biggest drawbacks, is it's kind of like football, right? Basketball, you got 2 guys in a basketball, you can play basketball.
Yeah.
You can't do that with baseball.
No, you cannot.
You can go out and throw the ball around, you know. Every movie where they've ever talked about going and having a throw is baseball related.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, no.
And now that you mentioned that, the amount of movies that's in, holy shit!
Gonna go have a throw camp. What is it? Brooklyn Nine-Nine, where Hulk goes to Peralta. Would you like to go and have a throw? And he's like, yes, I would like that. Like the whole thing of bonding with your dad by having a chuck of the baseball.
Yeah, it's super rare. It's like it's one in 100 where when they're talking about going and having a throw that they're talking about throwing a football. That one's rare.
Yeah. But yeah, so like it is America's pastime, and as I said, like it is out in the world. It is bigger than the NRL. You know,
yes,
that's why we have baseball stars from Mexico and
True.
Japan and Korea and all this kind of stuff. Like, but the other big thing is it also takes a lot of space. Like, you look at Dodger Field.
Oh, it's massive.
It itself is massive. It fits something like 60,000 people or something like that. But then you look at the amount of space they have to give to a car park around it as well.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like,
so you
they
put
take
60,000 people in there, you need a massive car park.
It takes up more space. And so that's another consideration as to why some sports, I think, have more global popularity is the space you need is less. Tennis doesn't need much space. No. Soccer, whilst it does need a bit of space, it actually doesn't need it as much as people think. Yeah. It's, it is a big field, but it doesn't need that much space for that field. Basketball doesn't take up a lot of space. No. Baseball takes up a giant space. Like you put 4 diamonds next to each other, you have a giant 300, 400 foot radius circle that nothing else can be put in, and that's if they're all touching each other.
Oh yeah.
So
and they rarely are, space. And it's not often that they're touching each other.
Yeah, so like it takes up a lot of space. It it's not a small thing.
Yeah.
And I can understand why. And the other thing is like being born in Australia, I guarantee you he's watched movies and stuff where they've referenced baseball, and the reference just doesn't. It goes, oh, okay, they're talking about something, it's like How I Met Your Mother has baseball references in it.
Yeah.
They literally reference in one of the episodes Barney's perfect week, where he's having that, where he's trying to hook up with a chick every night of the week, or is it a perfect month? Can't remember. But he's gone for like a perfect string, and like the only thing that could break that was a member of the championship Yankees team coming in, and just at that point. But no, it is like there is so much baseball just kind of sitting there under the surface that unless you know it's about baseball, you probably don't get it, and that's why he doesn't think it's as big. Yeah. But then the other side of it is like there's a lot of money because a lot of people watch it.
Oh yeah, a ton of people watch it,
and it's in every city. Like, so the thing with like Australian sport is if you're a small city, you don't have a sports team pretty much.
No, you don't.
Unless you're a capital city. Like, I can think of about 3 teams that aren't from capital cities in the NRL, and I can think of about none in AF. Oh no, there are a few in AFL.
Well, a lot of
none in cricket.
A lot of like it doesn't go by cities. Once you get to smaller places, it goes by the region for the most part.
Yeah,
and the region has a team.
We have semi-pro teams like Rockhampton has the Capras.
Yeah.
Which is they're not really a Rockhampton team. They're like the Central Queensland Capra.
The Capricorn region team. Yeah.
But they are a Rockhampton team because Mackay, which is part of this region, has their own team. And, But they're like semi-pro at best. They get paid pittance to actually play. They're kind of like the minor leagues of America, which is like small towns can have a minor league baseball team.
Yeah, yeah.
But like the thing is, America has one, it just has a lot of states, so there's a lot of capitals.
Oh yeah.
2, it's like you don't have to be a capital to have a team.
No.
So like LA, it's not the capital. It's just a massive city. It has teams. Same with New York. Yeah. We don't really have that here in Australia. But yeah, it's like it's crazy to think because like you could come from this tiny little city. Yes, you're the capital of your state, but you're kind of Colorado, right? In the mountains, they have a baseball team, and for that city, that baseball team is their pride because they don't have. No, they don't. Do Colorado have a basketball team?
I don't think so.
We'll have to look into that. But they don't have like the football teams that exist. There's very few football teams.
Yeah.
There's a few basketball teams, but there's a lot of baseball teams. There's something like 32 baseball teams or something like that. So it means that for a lot of places, their baseball team is their pride.
Buffaloes. Colorado Buffaloes. It's a university team by the look of it.
Okay, university teams are not like
no,
they still love their college basketball and stuff, but that's their team. Like, so for baseball, because there's a lot of teams like Oakland Athletics and all of this kind of stuff. Yeah, they're not like the greatest teams in the world. They're probably not going to win a world championship or a World Series.
Yeah.
But they're still the pride of that town. They're something that town gets to come to and
Yeah, that's it.
And come together for, and beat them. And like, so Baltimore has the Ravens. Baltimore Ravens. I'm pretty sure Baltimore's Ravens, but they also have the O's, or the Orioles.
Yeah.
And it's just it's town pride. It's going out there, and so for Americans, baseball's big, and also it's not expensive to go to a baseball game.
You have to start licking all the time, don't you?
Yes, you do. It's not a big deal for them. It's like, it's not, when we go to a sports game, it's like, it's going to cost you like $80 for a ticket.
Yeah.
For them, it's like, it's not that expensive, so you can go and see them.
Oh yeah.
And they play, so from the time they start to the time they finish, they might get like a day off a week. So they play a lot of games. So it's not like, oh no, I missed my team playing this week. It's like, oh no, they'll play like 4 times this week. Or they'll play like,
you'll see them at least once.
And they'll come home and they'll play like 3 games straight at home. So you can go down and see them.
Oh yeah.
It's like, yeah, you might be going on a Tuesday night, but it's a Tuesday night. What else are you gonna do?
Yeah, true, fair point.
So, like, it's just a big deal, and it's something that I always love about American sport, and it's why I like the Big Bash League. It's like, it's weeknight sport. It's not, every game isn't like the AFL or the NRL, where it's like, you only play 26 times a week, or the NFL, which is like you only play once a week. It's like, no, you play heaps of times a week. You get a chance. If you lose a game, it's not the worst thing in the world, because it's just one of many games. Like, I think in baseball they play 160 games in a season, which actually I think it might be like 165. But for like, if you're a football player, you're like, yo, you don't understand. I've got to play like you don't understand. I got to play like 26 games a year. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ, it's so sad. How much money do you make?
I know.
I only like $1 million. And it's like, come on.
It's just fuck all.
Australian football players, so it's not Americans. So it's like, I've got to play 16 games a year. How much do you get paid? $3.5 million. You don't understand how difficult it is to be me. But yeah, no, so they play a lot more, and that's why I think basketball and baseball have a bigger pool, because it's like, you can come home on a Tuesday night after work and be like, I've had a pretty shit day, I'm going to sit down with a beer and watch the baseball or the basketball.
And I think basketball's taken over more, like you said, like you only need 2 people. You don't even need 2 people. You can just literally go shoot hoops.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with baseball? I'm going to throw it against that net.
I'm just going to practice my catching. Yep, no one's throwing it to me. I was going to practice my batting. Yep, no one's throwing it to me.
I can practice my pitching.
But
I've got to go get the ball. Shit.
But the I think and I think the reason that baseball still has a spot in people's heart a bit more than basketball is, basketball you kind of have to be watching it for the full time, right? Yeah. Because it's a very fast-paced thing. Whereas baseball, you can be like, well, I'm going to sit down and have a beer. Oh, my beer's empty. I'll go grab another one. You can come back and it's still the same innings, or it's the next innings, and nothing's changed. Like, you're not coming back and being like, oh, shit, how did they score 15 points in the 2 minutes I was away? Yeah. It's like, oh, yep, they scored like 1 run while I was away. Yep.
It's like 2 minutes in a game of basketball. It's a long fucking time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what? Rough, at least 5 shot clocks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, that's at least 5 ups and downs.
Yeah.
But considering that very rarely do you ever use up a full shot clock, that could be up to 10. You could have gone up and down 10 times.
Exactly.
So, yeah. But in baseball, it's it's a little bit slower. As I said, it's if you think about the American sports as how much time they take, basketball takes a couple of hours of your day. Football, generally they have 16-minute quarters, so they have 4 of them. So that's 30 to about an hour and 4 minutes.
Yeah, roughly that.
Yeah, for an hour and 4 minutes of game time, it usually takes about 3 to 4 hours of your life.
Yeah.
You figure that one out. And for baseball, it's, you'll go there in the morning and you'll leave in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And it's a whole day thing. But it's not a whole day where
you think of the lineups that they have in a baseball stadium just for the food.
Oh, that's great.
That's like massive lineups, and it's like you come back and it's like, have I missed much? No, not really.
Oh, it's great. The other thing is that unlike basketball, and unlike football,
Yeah.
baseball is a souvenir game.
Yeah.
If they hit that ball into the stadium, it's yours if you catch it.
Oh, yeah.
If you're standing there and you're like, yeah, and like because like, so when I went to this game in Sydney, they take balls out, right, to warm up every innings.
Yeah.
And then when they're done, they just kind of, however many balls they've got, they just turn around,
Throw
chuck
them into the crowd. Yeah.
If you catch one of them, that's yours now, and that's been touched by a famous pitcher or a famous catcher or a famous first base, second base, third baseman. And the other thing is, I guess, the fantasy side, because they play so many more games. The fantasy element, which I've never really gotten into, but it means there's a lot more evening out. Whereas, like, if you're playing one game a week in your fantasy football, and your player gets injured, then you might as well rule them out, because if it takes them 3 weeks to get back, they've lost three games. But that's 3 games of their whole season.
True.
As opposed to, like, yeah, I'm out for like 3 weeks, and it's like, cool, you're missing like 10 games, and it's like, shit, and it's like, it's 10 games of 165.
Yeah.
What are you doing, little one? But yeah, no, I do think it's funny, because, like, yeah, people think like, oh, basketballers are paid massively. Oh,
they're paid well, but not
footballers are paid massively. And it's like, I think most
massively compared to the average person. Yes.
Oh well, like, okay,
comparing it to
LeBron James, I think it was $130 million deal for 3 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was a 600. It is something where he's like getting paid like $35 million a year.
Yeah.
I mean, people are like, that's massive. And it's like, yes, in basketball, massive. Football, massive. Let's talk about what's always held the big contracts for American sports. Let's talk about baseball. And it's like, oh, what's baseball? Yeah, so as I said, the top player in baseball at the moment is being paid $70 million a year.
Oh, yeah.
For 10 years.
Yes.
But, yeah.
Yeah, fine.
I just think it's funny, because it's like, people kind of sleep on baseball. They're like, oh, it's not that big, though. It's like, in terms of money, it's the biggest.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, wait, what? Yeah.
It's like, would I do a full day of it? Probably not. But would I watch at least an innings? Yeah.
Well, dude, let me tell you, I during the playoffs, I was watching like every game, which meant like I was waking up at like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
But like even now, like, so when I'm playing softball, I spend, if it's a softball day, I'll spend the whole day down at the softball field, like from like 9 a.m. till like 5 p.m.
Yeah.
And I come home and I have to do other things, YouTube related generally. Yeah. But it's like, that's just kind of what you expect for baseball and softball. It's what I've always known. It's what I expect. And it's like, I think a lot of people, that's like a turn off for them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, when you're watching it, and like, even if you're not a big baseball fan, and like Caleb, I have a friend, Caleb, he's sort of a baseball fan. He went to America, saw a game, was like, I love this. And then he came here, and like, when he got to know me, we were talking about baseball one day, and he was like, wait, you like baseball? I'm like, man, I live and breathe baseball.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so we just sit there and talk baseball.
I think I heard part of that conversation. Like, but you haven't noticed yet?
You haven't noticed? I think it is funny, because like, I always wear a baseball cap.
It's literally always wearing a baseball cap. I'm pretty sure he's been in here. Baseballs.
Yeah. But yeah, like, so yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, that's part of my whole thing. But yeah, like, I think people just go like, oh, well, it's not that big. It's like, it's much bigger than you think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, you go to America and you go to a place, and it's like, you'll notice if it's a baseball day.
You literally just watch general American TV, and they're wearing jerseys all the time.
Oh, yeah.
It's like one of their basic, I'm just going to throw it on today, jersey.
Yep. Again, though, like, that's something that I always say. Look out, if you're sitting there going like, oh, but baseball's not that big, watch some American shows and tell me how many times you see the Yankees sign, like the Yankees emblem or the Dodgers emblem, just rock up on people that are just wearing stuff. And it's like, to you, it's,
I swear,
to you, it's like the LA is like, oh, but it just stands for Los Angeles. It's like, well, yes,
technically
LA does stand for Los Angeles, but it's the LA that belongs to the LA Dodgers. It's their symbol. It belongs to them.
Yeah.
And yes, NY does stand for New York, but it's the New York that belongs to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Yankees.
It's 100% that, and it's like
It's their symbol.
yeah,
It
I have a
belongs to
feeling
them.
you go and watch a movie with about another sport, and you'll still fucking see a baseball jersey in the background.
Oh, absolutely.
Because like, a lot of them are like, "Hey, we're shooting something today. You guys just go about your normal day."
Well, see, the other
come
thing
and
is,
wear
it's,
whatever.
it's sort of like, because I've been watching it, and like obviously the jerseys. If I want to get a jersey here, it's like, oh, how much is this guy? Oh, $200 to get a nice Los Angeles Dodgers jersey. Yeah. Whereas it's like they're like, oh yeah, get your tickets for this game. Every ticket for this specific game, in this area gets a free special jersey.
Yeah.
For the day. So it's like you rock up and it's like, yeah, you get the special jersey we're wearing today as part of
Yeah.
your ticket price. And so it's like, yeah, it's a big part of their life. And I just think it's funny because it's kind of like, yeah.
How much you want to bet if we go watch the scene in Spider-Man from the train? How much you want to bet someone's wearing a jersey? I've never paid attention to it.
I'd actually be interested to see
that.
because like the big thing is like you've got to remember that all of these are brands.
Oh yeah.
So I wonder if you actually watch a Marvel movie, if you would see any of them pop up,
Yeah,
or if they would specifically try and avoid them so they don't have to pay any branding.
Yeah, no, I never thought about it until just then. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, the point is that we did have a pretty funny conversation. But as I said, like for years, like they were talking about the big contracts people were getting in basketball and football.
Yeah.
I remember like back when I was like 12 or something.
Yeah.
One of my favorite players had got like the biggest contract, one of the biggest contracts in baseball, and it was like, oh yeah, 2 years, maybe it was 3 years, but it was something like $300 million.
Yeah, okay.
And it was like, what?
Jeez.
And I can't remember who, but
Well,
he was like dating like he was dating like I don't think it was Jennifer Lopez, but it was like someone like that, like a movie star, and it was like. Yeah, and like he was a slightly larger man and stuff. He wasn't like the model kind of physique, and it was like yeah, but he's really good at baseball, and so he's worth that much money, and people want to be around him.
Pretty much.
But that's it, and you know, like as I said, maybe one day I'll talk with Jacob about it, and he can we'll see how much of a whole baseball thing we can pull out that he actually goes, well, I didn't know that was baseball. I didn't know that was baseball. But as I said, there is so much underlying pop culture that is like. Where did this come from? Baseball. Like, the whole thing is it's as American as apple pie is a reference to baseball.
Well, fair, yes.
Baseball is as American as apple pie.
Yes.
But anyway, guys, I think that's just about us done for the day. We've been going for long enough.
Yeah.
I'm going to get these two little ones up because he's been in the footage a bit, so you can say goodbye. You want to say goodbye? You say bye-bye. Bye. 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 What about you, Georgie? No, you're just happy to sit there.
Well, hello again.
Get him. Get him. But guys, thank you for joining us. If you have liked this, consider liking, sharing, commenting, or subscribing. If you want to see more of us, check out the rest of the channel. We play a whole variety of video games. We also have the podcast where we just talk rubbish.
Yeah.
And we will catch you next time right here on the channel.
Yeah.
But it won't be for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
See you later, guys.
See ya.